Welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. I'm your host, Sedrik Cannady. When it comes to weed, pot, marijuana, or whatever you wish to call it, talking about it is pointless. The reason for me saying this is based on two things: the insanity check and stupid routines. The insanity part relies solely on the idea of doing the same thing repeatedly whilst expecting a varied result is classified as an insane action. This is not the definition of insanity, but trust me, if you saw someone tapping their head against the wall, asking why the wall won't move, you'd assuredly not go near that person. The second one derives from a more personal perspective on needless things in life, stupid routines. I use this to try to break myself of unfavorable habits in my own life. Stupid, in my definition, rests on knowing better but not acting accordingly. A routine is merely something you do repeatedly without thought. Going to work, playing a certain game, or having a conversation where there is a difference of opinion, and with any of those, but not limited to the scenarios, a certain way of handling them remains consistent. Talking about marijuana and doing your best to convince anyone against it, whether it is a deep follower of the law or a politician, is a wasted effort. It's been done since just before the 1960s rolled in. The 1970s saw a spike in usage and conversation, and the 80s saw an unprecedented level of incarceration for the use of it, especially in minority neighborhoods. That was what the war on drugs was about. So just know this, my planetary racists who partake in weed, you can't have it legally because people like you used it to hurt the people you hate. The same thing was used again in the 1990s to commit these so-called vile felons to the for-profit prison system for life. During those times on the West Coast, being caught 3 times with the substance, including any other minor or probable infraction of the law, antiquated or not, was life in prison. So let's hear it for the Confederacy and their resurgence into the power Abe Lincoln set out to remove all those years ago. Thanks to your support against people's skin color or country of origin, you can't legally have weed either. Stand up and applaud. People of all ages enjoy weed. We all know this. People of all demographics love weed. We know this too. What people don't talk about, and it's still pointless to hold a prolonged conversation about, is that politicians and law enforcement officers partake in the substance as well. They have been caught but never prosecuted or removed from their position. You can talk about health benefits and crime reduction, but that means nothing. It never has and never will. The way I see it, doing so is a stupid routine. Why? Because with impassioned language in favor of weed from the multitude of legal citizens, success is at best at a snail's pace. In fact, it's become a routine to talk about it amongst ourselves and to our local politicians. We talk and they turn away from it. We write and they put it in the trash. We protest and they call for a noise ordinance. We take to the streets and we get accosted by the constables on patrol set upon the people they were originally meant to help. We do it repeatedly without fail and gain the same results, hoping for something different. I believe it is time for people to wake up swiftly and change their approach to the game. This is done by learning why everything that would have worked in the first half of the 1900s has no chance of working in the early half of the new century. I'm talking to all of you out there. I want you to hear me. Stop listening to social media talk about the great stats on weed. Stop listening to them talk about how great it is. That's just meaningless filler. Demand from them to take action and lead you into victory. One way to claim victory is to realize who the enemy is. The first enemy is our insatiable greed. Money is right now because we refuse to change what we need to get by. The problem is we don't care to get by. We care to be powerful with it. It has to stop. Change doesn't happen unless you make it happen. The second enemy are our politicians who poison the minds of the thoughtless viewers who don't question but blindly fall into place. We can't change the people, but we can change the people that control the people. Elect politicians who are in honest favor of legalizing weed. They have to want it, not simply talk about it. If they say, we need to have a conversation about it, then you need to ignore that person and find better immediately. The first two enemies listed can be controlled for the betterment of us all, not just those who want weed. With two enemies left, I will mark them instantly. The third is money and politics, greed once again. There is a link in the description for wolf-pack.com you can take and help the Young Turks where you live. The last enemy is the root of why nothing gets done in our favor, the pharmaceutical companies. They price gouge us, who are mostly forced into bad health, and they control a large amount of how doctors prescribe drugs based on how the clinic or hospital dictates their policies. They, Big Pharma, are able to give our politicians $300,000 like we give a close friend $5 when they are in dire need. We can't financially fight them, and due to their influence, fighting them in court is just as pointless as trying to impeach a president, especially before office is taken or when there are just a few months of their time remaining. In knowing these four enemies and learning a better way to fight, the change will arrive. We must remove our pointless need and desire to talk about it and do the things that will assuredly cause or compel change within a system rigged to protect itself and maximize profit at our expense. This is my way of trying to help you all get what you should have had and, in most cases, what should not have been taken away. Besides, as I've learned, medical marijuana is nothing more or less than watered down weed. It's less effective, less potent, and is an insult to the people who professionally grow it. The saying used to be that since weed cannot be taxed, it cannot be legal. I am beginning to understand that that is not the case. Weed has been taxed for great revenue in select states such as Colorado, California, and Washington. Crime is down and driving deaths are down. So long as we allow Confederate mindsets to have a voice stronger than those who stood alongside groups such as the original Black Panthers, we will never see better days for anyone of any creed or color. Change yourself and you change the point of attack. Change the point of attack and you change the system. Changing the system places a defense from greed. That is how you invoke change, and keeping an eye on it keeps your defense strong. This is Sedrik Cannady for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.